Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the Dead Dog Saloon, one of the most iconic maps of competitive Dead by Daylight, with one of the most iconic killers, an absolute OG, the Wraith, which is pretty much a surprise gamble every time, can be anything from 0 stages to a 5k. 5k? It could be a 5k, honestly. On a Wraith, everything is possible. 5, 6, 7k, everything is possible. And with me is a new caster. Very, very great to have them here. specTRAL, hello and welcome.
Thank you, yes. Hello, everyone. Honestly, really exciting to see a match like this of two very, very good teams, especially since Dire. We are seeing some players from a very, very relevant team nowadays. Or should I say 3 of them, as we're actually going to be looking at Hunt and Jaw and Wispy being a part of a very, very prestigious team with the addition of Kenshi now all on Tremor, facing a very, very, very good team as Calamity, who we have seen before, especially their captain, on such a very, very, very high prestige team like Elysium. But it seems like Wispy is going to be taking a down here for the start of Calamity, as a lot of progress is going across these gens. It seems like they are splitting, so we could be seeing 2 pops here, I'd like to say.
2 pops for the exchange of the first hook stage would be a very, very great start. And you touched on it. Tremor definitely updated the roster after they signed up in the interview phase already, coming in with Wispy and a few additions from X9 here. So Tremor really, really looking good. We see this here as well. Great stun, making the distance. We will see a very coordinated unhook. Right when the killer was far away from the hook, we will see the unhook coming through. First generator as well. The second one is not far, even though there was the pain res popped in the distance. That's going to be the tunnel onto Wispy. Very common strategy in competitive Dead by Daylight, but only under the condition that it happens relatively quickly, though. We do have the down, but we also have a teammate being around, so difficult decision making for the Wraith now. Will you go into the next chase, potentially allowing the pickup onto Wispy? How much time do you want to waste here? That's all going to be very, very tricky. Hein, though, gladly taking the difficult pallet here on the water tower. Second gen coming out as well. specTRAL, so far I see a very coordinated survivor team that is applying a lot of pressure onto Hein here.
And it seems like we're about to see a save coming through from Jaws. Now Wispy is going to be free from the clutches of Hein. Hein is right now looking down 2 gens, as you did say. Now he's running into Shack, as now Wispy's going to be vaulting the window and looking for an opportunity to extend this chase. Maybe we're going to be seeing support here from other teammates, but could be dropping that pallet since we do see Bamboozle coming through. I do think Wispy is going to be able to last here quite a while. I don't think he makes this window, however. Oh, wait, nope. Not committing to that uncloak, and right now, maybe I could say, I don't know if they're going to see if they can maybe save him from another pallet save, maybe just letting him get his chase right now, as it seems like Wispy is going to go down, but they did waste, whoa, wait, missing a swing there. They did waste a grand bit of time with 3 gens popping, as now Hein is going to be looking at another hook and a lot of progress onto more generators. This is just looking fairly tough for Calamity, as it seems like the win condition for Tremor is going to be a lot easier than some people would expect, but we are seeing pressure going off on top of Han as now. It seems like Hein is going to be getting a lot closer to Kisagen, but I don't think they're going to commit. Instead, they're going to stay around the hook and camp it just to see if they can maybe secure the kill. Finding Jaw here is actually very good, as they could potentially get the hit here. He does have the pallet that he's trying to make. He doesn't make it entirely, as he does get blocked. Not a hit coming through as he W keys away. That's going to be the 4th gen, and now he's making his way completely far from hook, and we're potentially going to be seeing a save here coming through from Kenshi. Haunt vaulting that, not fully committing to the uncloak. This is just not looking like a very strong game for Calamity right now.
Yeah, this is looking relatively difficult here. X9, I'm already saying X9 because it's 3/4 of X9 here. Tremor 9, we could say Tremor 9 is doing a very, very good job here. Survivor team absolutely in a great form, putting a lot of pressure on the killer when we had that pallet save coming out. They're wasting a lot of time from Hein as well. Very quick when it comes to the unhooks and the resets here. The sloppy butcher not really coming in clutch, and if they stay injured, then they are having resources around. They have teammate around, so they are always staying very safe. Down to 1 generator, only 2 stages so far. Tunnel out didn't work for Hein as well, so basically denying the strategy that Calamity was trying to put up here. So let's see how that is going to be played out if Hein is able to add any significant amount of stages here. I would almost say you don't go for the tunnel out anymore, because there would be just 1 stage. Instead, you are now going to start off hunting the fresh survivors, trying to get more stages in there. We do see now Jar going into chase. That's going to be attack onto them. Right into the main building, though a very, very painful tile, and Hein didn't even have time so far to prepare it and set it up here. The bamboozle will do a little bit of work, but when you bamboozle this one, the next window is coming in clutch, as well as the human meat shield by Haunt coming in as well. Honestly, I feel like Hein is trying his hardest. He's trying to defend the gens, he's trying to attack them, he's trying to force injuries, but Tremor is just 1 step ahead here.
It does also seem like he is getting those injuries, like you did say. There's 3 people currently injured, and if Haunt and Jaw are currently resetting, that's going to be a lot of pressure. But we have no eyes on Kenshi whatsoever, so that could be a person that's potentially working and now ratting the gen at Gallows. Quick reset onto Haunt there, but Wispy is going to be completely out of position as he did not have any loops to go into, so he's just going to be forcing pick, and that is going to be the first kill of the game. At 1 gen. No gens remaining quite literally at all. That's very unfortunate for Hein, as Kenshi was on water tower. He's not going to be moving towards 6. I think he might get interrupted here by Hein, but no, Hein is looking for another chase at main, as we're going to be seeing a fast fall notification. They're going behind main, potentially moving towards 1. Is actually going to end up finding onto Jaw here, but is not going to commit to it. Is instead looking for Haunt. As we do know, Kenshi is at bottom, and Haunt is going to be on the gate. He is probably going to be taking a hit here, as he has nothing to work with, so he's going to be making his way over towards the T. Oh, well, that's a tag there onto Haunt. Is now he's making his way towards 6. Jaw could be coming in here to take a hit and maybe try to escort him all the way over towards the gate, but I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, as he is completely zoned away. Forced to break that pallet, trying to block him. Is going to not go in front of him just yet, is now trying to cut him off into Shack. We can see him as he is going to be making his way over, trying to desperately block this killer, and that is actually going to work, I think. Does he make this? And it is going to be the case, as that is a 3 out for Tremor.
That is a devastating start into this best of 3 for Calamity. This is not how they planned this. This was clearly not how Hein was planning this. If we look on his perks, if we saw the tunnel out strategy in the mid game, we really wanted to cut it down to a 3v1 as quick as possible. Tremor didn't let it happen, Tremor didn't allow it, and then it was too late to switch strategy. Too many body blocks being taken, too careful playstyle on the side of the survivors. They didn't allow any mistakes, and especially when you play on a weaker killer like the Wraith, you have to pressure these survivors, and you have to pressure them so hard that they are going to make mistakes. And then based on these errors, you're taking control over the game and you're taking the good result. All of this didn't work out. We can only hope that Calamity is finding their planned strategy and able to execute this game plan on the upcoming trial, where they will play on the survivor side. Tremor is going to switch to killer, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you on the Dead Dog Saloon after a short break.
Hello and welcome everyone back to DBDLeague, here with the second game of the first set, which is going to be Wraith on Dead Dog Saloon. Right now it is going to be Wispy on the side of Killer for Tremor versus the Calamity survivors, which is going to be Pedro HC, Hein, who is currently in chase, Laser, and Rocket. So a very, very powerful roster from the confines of the European region versus a very powerful killer with Wispy. Very well known for his work on X9, grabbing a stun there. Hein is going to be making his way over towards safer loops and starting his team off with seemingly a very strong chase. Now, Dyer, there was a very strong performance from the Tremor survivors. Do you think that Calamity might have a chance to potentially get this set above Wispy, especially with how difficult this win condition is to begin with?
Oh yeah, it will be very, very hard, to be fair here, and especially when you have the win condition in mind, it is putting up even more pressure. For Wispy, it will feel really, really good because you don't need to worry about a 4K. You don't need to play optimal about defending the generators. You can smash a couple of hook stages and then you're basically fine. For the Survivor team, it means that the first down needs to be as late as possible. We will need to be several minutes into the trial without having it down so far. Exactly what Rocket is showing here. One of the most known ladder players, the 1v1 leaderboard of DBDLeague. And unfortunately, this is what cannot happen. A miscommunication on the body block. Hein not being on a generator to smash some progress. Not being successful taking the injury here. And this is coming out really, really punishing. Wispy not even using the Painless hook so far. Instead, opting to just apply the Pop Goes to Weasel Kick right here. First generator coming out. So Calamity definitely showing that they are ready to apply some pressure here. But as said, then latest now, after the first hook stage is already in the trial, we need the down in, I don't know, maximum 3 minutes from now, not earlier.
I'm not gonna lie, Calamity right now with each passing second is looking very, very dire for them. Rocket almost about to be blocked there by Wispy, but Wispy's gonna be forced to unclick and now looking for, oh wait, dying under the pallet. We do see somebody setting up at the wagon here. Could Wispy have caught that and now trying to interrupt them? Pedro HC showing himself very close by, making his way over towards Water Tower, which has been kicked, so that is going to attack onto him as well. As a gen is going to pop off in the distance. 2 gens remaining, seemingly chasing Pedro here, as we're actually looking at a fairly smart decision, I would say, from Wispy, as he is going to be chasing someone else. Rocket on the floor, meaning that somebody has to go over to pick them up and waste a little bit more time, meaning that Wispy has some leeway here with how long he gets chased, dropping that wagon pallet, trying to use that firecracker, ends up missing it as Wispy dodges it just in time, but now he safely makes it over to the front of main, dying on top of the pallet. Falls out of it. Wait, could he be dragged out? And I don't think... Wait, they're trying to make his way over. That is not going to work, as Rocket is going to be hit and not... Wait, was that supposed to be a stun? That looked very weird. Jeez.
I think that was the plan. Yeah, I think that was the plan. They wanted to execute here, and unfortunately, it did not work out. Petro will be thrown onto a hook here. Hein and Rocket both injured. 3 gens remaining. We don't have a sloppy budget this time, so at least you will be a little bit quicker on establishing safety for your team members again, but it is still going to cut quite some time from you, and it will be a little bit of pressure. I'm not sure if that slow vault was a good idea. I think that was very, very close, actually. That was gambling with the devil, we could say. Hein, though, is going to be successful, but will be blocked towards that window. Very, very nice gameplay here, and that's going to be the down. There's a team member around, but I do think Wispy is well aware of that. Laser is going to be found. Unfortunately, there's going to be the second one coming in. Pedro is now going for the pickup, but this also means that basically all survivors are pretty much busy at the moment with keeping up with the pressure of Wispy, and this is not what they need to make a magic turn here.
Yeah, and now with Laser hitting the floor and now going to be hooked, that is going to be 3 freshes for Wispy, which I would believe is to say the win condition, but I'm very, very, very certain that Wispy is not looking for the minimum. This guy's trying to get the absolute tippy top of the score, especially versus a powerful team. This guy needs to show and prove him to everyone again and again and again that he is a top player and deserves to be respected like the rest of them. Now, we are going to be seeing a lot of progress onto this generator, but Wispy is going to catch sight of somebody on the pallet. That is going to be Rocket. Rocket could be looking at it down here, but he does have a pallet that is fairly safe. Dropping that instantly, Wispy is going to be going over to quickly get that break. Rocket making his way back over into another tile, as this is going to be a safe window that he can take. And Wispy right now, wait, breaking off, finding Hein in the complete corner of the map. I do believe there's a pallet fairly close by, and he does not make it, however, because it is fairly far. I was incorrect. But he does have a lot more resources to work with now that he has been hit and is now pushed back into the map. A lot of movement here from this entire team of Calamity.
Yeah, now Hein is going to take this very cheap. I was expecting, when he dropped the pallet, I was like, nope, you're going to be locked in that animation of pallet drop, and then you can receive this very cheeky clap over the fence. That's now what Hein discovered as well. That's going to be hook stage number 4 so far. Wispy not playing for the win condition at all. Wispy is playing for the optimal 12 hook game, and he doesn't want to let Calamity go. And I mean, it's understandable, right? We're just in the first set here, and it matters how you take the first set point. Do you win it by just one stage difference? Or do you win it with a very dominant performance, making your opponent nervous, showing them that you have a very, very high control over them? And considering that Calamity is a strong team, Wispy is setting up Tremor for a very, very dominant performance here in this best of 3, which the team will be profiting from for the upcoming set. Not even going for the pickup here, I think. Wispy wants more.
A lot more. He's actually going to be interrupting Laser from popping the Shen and is now forcing him into a fairly tough situation. Tries to go for that swing, but he is not going to connect on Laser. Good mind games coming through from Wispy, as now Laser is going to be looking at a Ninja. We did see earlier that Pedro and Pine were there resetting, as one of them has now rotated over to officially pick up Rocket off the floor, meaning that Wispy is looking at a little bit of a slowdown, but he's getting a lot of pressure off onto these survivors. We did see that Gen was also locked down. I do think he also makes his window. Oh no, a small bit of Bluetooth hits coming through, as it seems like that is going to be a unfortunate, should I say, Pokos for Rocket. As now Rocket is going to be hooked, and that is going to be another stage, meaning that I do think Tremor has just clutched the win condition. There's a lot of progress into these generators in Wispy right now, and like we've always been repeating, is definitely not looking for scraps. Is going to be interrupting Pedro here, however, as Pedro HC is now going to not make it over towards the window safely. He's going to be forced to take a tag. So with that tag, whoa, very good use of that wall there to deny the hit just for a little bit longer, as he now runs his way over towards main, and Wispy rotates back towards the Gen, and soon to be the hook.
Calamity being in a very, very difficult spot here. A little bit like in the previous trial, they are doing a lot of significant tries to keep up with the pressure. They are organizing themselves, they are pressuring the generators, they take the chases in the right spot. So a lot is happening. Unfortunately, it is not enough, because again, Tremor, in this case Wispy as the killer, is one step ahead. Hein has to take a rather disgusting hit onto this pallet here. There's not going to be a savior and a hero coming by, so that's going to be the second hook stage for him. That's 60 seconds away from elimination. Pop goes to Weasel Kick, applying as well. Resources being removed, and now Dead Dog Saloon is also slowly but steady turning into a huge dead zone for the Survivor team. You have the main building, of course, and you can make it a very, very valuable resource, especially with body blocking. But besides that, there's very little left on the Dead Dog Saloon here. So Wispy becoming stronger and stronger. Rocket going to take another injury here, leaving Pedro as the potential savior for Hein. Honestly, I hope that Calamity is taking it out here. I feel like that would be fair, considering how much they are trying, and it would also be very important for the confidence of Calamity going into the second set here. But I do think it's realistic that Wispy walks away with a 4K here.
Yeah, I mean, Wispy is definitely not letting anything up. They are going to pop the 4th Gen, but that is going to be Rocket's Deathlick, which is also going to be the last Painter, as meaning that a Gen has been reduced by quite a lot. That could potentially prove to be trouble for Calamity, as they're getting a lot of pressure onto these generators, but quickly being interrupted. Pedro is going to have that. Hein hits the floor, and Laser very close by, trying to go for that flashlight save, but he did end up turning just in the perfect direction for him to dodge Laser's sights. And now moving his way over towards Pedro HC, trying to stop him from popping that Gen. There's a lot of progress, but not enough to be committing to it. That is going to be the kick with Pop Goes the Weasel officially locked. Wait, no, it hasn't. Not just yet, as Pedro is still going to be within bounds, staying around this fairly unsafe palette, I would say, especially versus cross-regional thing differences. We're going to be seeing a little bit of competitive banter. Wispy letting it get to his head is now going to unfortunately swing, but is now quickly going to break the pallet and potentially try to punish him for his banter, and is now actually going to be looking at a hit here. Pedro making his way over towards safer pallets, hopefully, or maybe actually just dying corner. Ooh, interesting play, I'm not going to lie, but is going to fake it, as they're going to make a lot of distance on top of it. I think this is a fairly unsafe palette, as we've seen multiple players from Calamity try to play around this, and they have seen downs due to very unfortunate hits, but good movement from Pedro's going to grab the stun and now put distance in between Wispy and himself, but Wispy's going to ignore it and instead make his way over back towards Laser as he has officially regressed that gen enough for him to comfortably ignore it and put his sights somewhere else, should I say.
It's a little bit frustrating or sad, we could say, because what Pedro just showed us, this amazing chase for a long time on just a very, very little amount of resources, this was what Calamity needed in the early game here. This was what they needed to show to keep Wispy busy at the start, get pressure into the generators, take some control over the Dead Dog Saloon, and then they can dictate what's happening. Unfortunately, this is happening now when we are only having 2 remaining survivors, and it's still great because they do gain some confidence and they do show us what they are able to do here. But if that would have been in the early game, I think this set would have looked much, much different. Therefore, now we are looking towards a clean 4K with the generator remaining. Wispy is on Laser already. It will be a little bit of a standoff here that ends relatively quickly. Laser going down, Pedro being slugged. So a very clean take of the first set point by Tremor. Looking forward, we're going to have the Deathslinger on the second set. Suffocation Pit for Slinger. Very classic map for Slinger, I would say. I do remember that Wispy was insane Slinger in the past with a ton of snipes. Do you think there's a possibility that Calamity is going to break this confidence of Wispy somehow on the Slinger?
I would say it would be definitely incredibly difficult to begin with because Wispy is very strong, but Calamity is a very formidable team in general. And keep in mind, this is just the first set. I'm officially going to say that these people could also have a chance to solidify themselves, to finally get their claws into the ground, to have a foundation to go into the next match. Maybe they're just warming up, maybe they're just getting comfortable with the sights of the tournament, because every first game is a big shot. You've always been scrimming with each other, you've been scrimming other people, but you've never officially faced this other team, your opposites, your enemies. So this is definitely going to be a very interesting matchup, and I'm very excited to see how Calamity is going to do against such a powerful Slinger player. But to answer your question, yes, I think they have a very solid chance of making progress against such a powerful killer.
I think I can add nothing more than that. That was a beautiful description of what's awaiting us. Suffocation Pit, Slinger, ladies and gentlemen, it will 100% be Wispy with this past and experience on the Slinger. We will see you after a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long time since we've seen a Deathslinger in DBDL. Therefore, we are very happy that it's happening today on the Suffocation Pit. Very classic combination here for Season 9. And Wispy is a very known and very dangerous Slinger with a lot of snipes, with a lot of great mind games. Therefore, even surprised that Calamity did not ban Slinger against Tremor, knowing that Wispy is on the roster. We do see a very dangerous endgame build here as well. No one escapes death. And Rancor for a little bit of information throughout the trial as well. So far, Calamity is taking a chill, not showing themselves just yet. And a very great dodge there from Pedro. Wispy was unsure if that would land or not, so therefore we're just taking a normal turn around the shack, but that's going to be the quick break of the chain, especially with the cigar. You have a very short cooldown, and this looks like a very good first injury after a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah. But Pedro is going to be a little bit better set up. I would say this is kind of an unfortunate loop, as Wispy could quickly just go on the hill here and look for a quick snipe, but he does end up getting a lot of distance off of that. I'm uncertain if that is a perk or not, but Pedro now pre-dropping Shack, just trying to get his team a very good amount of time, and it seems like that is going to be the case, as Corrupt did not block every gen in the map, as there's going to be a gen middle and of course fairly far away from where Wispy is currently pressuring, so we could be seeing gens here pop very soon. Pedro's getting a very strong performance against such a powerful killer, but his road has now come to an end. As no, not just yet, he is going to make it his way over towards the corner officially. Very good little mind game there by Pedro. But it's interesting to see, as he has 0, and I mean quite literally 0% of anything regression based on any of his perks. You did say it was completely based around his about the end game part of the game. I think maybe Wispy here with should I say agitation is only looking for a chance to move closer, maybe get more pressuring hooks. That is probably the plan that he's going for, but he does not have anything to account for if there's a lot of high progress on a gen. He's definitely going to have to play around a 3-gen here or look for some very fast downs, as we are going to be coming back to the hook to interrupt it. I do believe that is Loctrin, who is now moving in towards the save. I wasn't able to see the survivor just well, but we will figure out who it is here in just a moment, as that is actually going to be Hein. Hein at Shack, completely zoned away from almost every resource but a window and a dream. Now dropping that firecracker, ends up misguiding Wispy's sight. Just a very good play, but now he's going to be taking a quick hit, and now trying to get in front of him. It seems like Pedro is going to hit second state officially. Very well played by Wispy, getting a quick exchange here, but he is still looking a lot of progress on all of these generators, so still a fair difficult game, even with how experienced Wispy is on Deathslinger.
I have to agree with you. It's a little bit shocking here about the gen regression, because basically you just need to compensate this then with a lot of injuries and a lot of down. This here being definitely a huge chance. Hein being a little bit too slow there on running back towards the pallet, that's going to be a down, and this is really what you need. If you come in with a perk build like this, and when you say I don't need any gen regression perks, well then you need the gen regression through injuries, through downs and unhooks. And at the very beginning it looked a little bit like this is not really happening. We only had 2 stages so far, 3 generators completed already. Now however, we have the Lactrin broken and injured. We have Hein on the hook. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I said that Wispy is a very, very dangerous Deathslinger here. But at least they were able to deny the tunnel out for a little bit longer with that for the people. So really, really great play there. And Wispy needs to speed it up. The unhook happened. We better see a quick down. Otherwise, this might fall a little bit apart here.
I would like to say as well, I think and believe that if Wispy's #1 plan right now is just to probably get 1 kill before the end game. I mean, that would definitely lessen the workload, as he is going to need to play around this build perfectly. He's looking at a bunch of snipes here on Loctrin, but he has been missing them just by a few centimeters each time. Looking at now a quick exchange, that is probably going to be a shot, as he just zones him away from the window. Very good plays there by Wispy, deciding to play it safe instead of going for a nasty snipe. Even with how, I mean, you see that, even with how experienced Wispy is on Slinger, he still decides to play it safe at every given moment, running away. Oh, wait, could we be seeing, I don't know what the third survivor is doing right now, but Pedro is going to be rotating in, and wait, it seems like they are going to be seeing if they can perform an adrenaline play, as I believe, wait, there's not enough progress on any of these generators right now. Completely unknown to what their plan is. We are going to be seeing the location of every survivor with Rancor. Somebody's going to be moving in to grab the save. And I believe maybe another down here is to be in tow, but none of the survivors that he is currently looking for are currently in suit. As now Loctrin is going to be injured and Hein is going to be in chase around Water Tower, potentially supporting them as they're both running in circles around it. Maybe looking for a snipe here, tries to go for it, but Hein is going to stand in the way, so Wispy is going to take that tag and now have another injure who's game, but potentially a double coming through from Pedro, and oh, what? That did not look like it missed, but Wispy is going to actually find him in a completely out of position, shoots him despite trying to get that life, and is now going to look at another down onto Loctrin. Oh lord, quick exchange there for Tremor, but right now Calamity seems like they are in a small bit of trouble, but I don't believe it is enough to completely say that they are in a very tough situation. So now they're gonna have to deal with the wrath of Wispy's perks, which is going to be in a completely centered endgame build.
We do have the no one escapes death though, so we have the haste effect coming in. We have a speeding and zooming Slinger on the suffocation pit. Nice one here by Pedro, going for the crouch in the right moment. We can only hope that they noticed the change in the movement speed and are aware that no one escapes death. Is coming out. Another great dodge now by Laser here. It seems like they are really learning of what Wispy is trying to do and how he's going to fake before taking the actual shot here. We are making a few turns around the rock here. That's going to be the down onto Laser though, and I do think that Calamity will be happy of taking 3 survivors out of the door here. We will need to see if they plan anything around that. Wispy checking real quick if there's anyone staying in to take anything, but the end game collapse is now telling us that the exit gates are open, therefore Wispy not going for too much. Unfortunate though, specTRAL, that Laser is a fresh hook, and therefore a few valuable hook stages are really coming in clutch here. They are going to take it though, not even attempting to go for a comeback, but 8 stages on Slinger. I think Wispy can be quite happy with a result like this.
Yes, yeah. I mean, this isn't even the or should I say, this isn't even the worst situation. A lot of people would probably have expected, with how much, like, emphasis, how much hype we put around Wispy. That is still an incredibly good result, especially versus such a very good team. We did see very powerful chases from Loctrin, Pedro, Hein, and Laser respectively. All of them had a very good performance, as it seems like they were able to completely and perfectly undo all of their mistakes and small little should I say bumps in the road, as we did see Pedro hit the death hook but was never officially tunneled out, and like you did say, unfortunately Laser was one of the remaining fresh hooks and he did unfortunately die. So that is a lot of points for our should I say boys at Tremor. So we're gonna have to see how Calamity responds to this in their killer match after our short break. So we will see you guys in a bit with the second match of the second set. Hello and welcome everyone to the one and only DBD League. I'm your caster specTRAL, joined here by the one only none other than Direwolf here for the second match of the second set, with a new addition to the, should I say, game roster today. We are going to be seeing on game day Marco, who I'm pretty sure we have not seen on Survivor just yet, quickly chasing Jaw and opting to run a slight, or should I say a very similar build to Wispy's, but there is going to be another addition, as we're going to be looking at Pop Goes the Weasel instead of Rancor. So very interesting play here by Marco. Knocked on, he's deciding to go for Wispy's strategy. He's instead going to be going for a different one. Quick hit there onto Haunt, as now he's going to be looking to start the game off with hopefully a quicker down than what Wispy was able to perform, which we may be able to see here. But he is taking chase into completely unactive gens and misses another shot. So no start just yet for Marco. But Dire, there is a fairly difficult win condition. I mean, Deathslinger is a very powerful killer, and I do not doubt at all that Marco will be able to potentially beat that win condition, but it will still be very difficult with these survivors. Do you think he can still have a chance, even if Trem 9 performs well today?
It will be very hard, especially when the early game doesn't speed up for the killer side right now, because what we see so far is 2 successful injuries, but Corrupt Intervention is also about to expire. So basically 2 minutes into the trial, we only have injuries so far, and we do really need some downs here. In this case, because our perk build with Agitation and Pop Goes the Weasel is really in need of getting these downs to regress the generators. This is the strategy. This is the game plan Calamity has set for the Slinger match here, and then it really needs to work out like this. I do doubt that we will not see a single generator being completed here. There might even be 2 generators finding themselves completed anytime soon, but Pop Goes the Weasel will do a little bit of work here on the generator nearby. We have a quite wonderful 4-gen on the top side. Not entirely sure if Marco will be able to defend that because we haven't checked on the right side for quite some time. Might be a double up, especially now after Corrupt Intervention has expired. We are holding the midpoint, a common strategy on Suffocation Pit, and this was what I was scared about, giving up the setup on the top side a little bit. And Marco definitely moving away very aggressively here, not defending the gens, not defending the hook stage, instead going on the bottom shack corner, going to injure a survivor here. specTRAL, what do you think about this?
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's why I'm here!
A miraculous and such a well-executed snipe coming through from Marco on top of Jaw is now going to be looking at a hook in basement. So much pressure for Calamity, getting an amazing start off. I do believe just for one hook was 3 gens remaining, so Marco is definitely at a faster pace, especially with that very good snipe. I was going to mention, as you were, I completely forgot everything. That one snipe actually just took almost every thought out of my head. I was going to mention how people need, a lot of people are so scared of the Slinger's power and not taking the maximized distance with it, because I'm not gonna lie, Jaw did get hit there on the edge map when he could have safely, I mean, obviously Marco could have potentially countered that as well, but I feel like running in a straight line there, trying to get your distance and try to avoid a situation like what happened with Jaw, is now we're going to be seeing Hunt coming in for the save. Jaw trying to make his way over towards the pallet, makes it safely as Marco misses the shot that could have killed him right then and there, but Jaw in this moment is now going to be making his way over towards Water Tower, and Marco is going to be redefining his sights to someone else, but is now going to be refocusing onto Jaw. So I am honestly unsure of how this game is going to proceed. I mean, he has a very good start and has already shown that he can definitely have a super solid chance of beating Wispy's win condition, but geez, will it still be difficult if any of these survivors gain traction against Marco? Almost hits that snipe there, but Jaw right now is still going to be looking at a very good chase, especially with all these shots he's dodging. Dire, I think Jaw might just have a chance here to completely outrun and slow down Marco's advances.
Yeah, cast is cursed. Welcome. Welcome to cursing the participants here. Now you know how it feels like. I hope you can sleep well tonight.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this... yeah, you better. I mean, the missed shot in the shack actually caused severe damage for Marco here. And this is what we often see, right? The killer needs to play very, very perfectly, and the survivors are the ones that need to give you a mistake you can then build up on. And the problem here is that with Jaw running literally for 90 seconds after that missed shot, costed a generator, caused a lot of resetting, a lot of reorganizing throughout the map, and now Tremor is going to be in a very, very confident spot here going towards the late mid-game. Haunt, however, is going to find another injury, but it's nothing too crazy. Marco definitely not in control of what's happening here. We can see this proven right here with the 4th generator coming in clutch. Marco will get it again, and it's actually going to be a down. This might be a turning point. We will see if Jaw will find rescue. The answer is yes, and generator number 5 is also on the way here. So we will need an endgame run by Marco to achieve these 9 stages that are needed. But unfortunately, we don't have an endgame build here. Will this be enough? That's going to be the injury. And they are greeting too much. They are throwing. They are potentially throwing on this knife. They are hot because to wiggle off into the general. What is happening? What did I just witness? This was the crazy up and down that we have seen in a long time. Jesus Christ. Tremor on top again.
Unbelievably quick thinking by Hunt there, taking his one shot to completely change the tide of this game. That could have been... I literally can't describe how unbelievably important that was. That was the turning point for Calamity to take this set against Tremor, but just that one wiggle out changed literally the entire game, as now Jaw is going to be looking at it down here, as that is also going to be his death. It is still possible for Marco to actually make this work, but it is going to be very difficult, especially with what happened, as now Wispy is going to be in chase here very shortly, unless he decides to commit, or no, instead he's actually going to be going back and finding Haunt. He needs a fresh look here. He needs to see if he can maybe get 2 kills out of this. It is still going to be possible, but I think with how everything is looking right now, Marco is going to have to be very, very, very well and collected. He needs to be calm, needs to be cold, because right now he's being stretched thin, finding Kenshi out of position. This could be, is going to be a down here very soon. Could make that pallet, and it seems like that is not going to be the case as he hits the floor, but everybody is making and trying to desperately make it over towards this. If they get Haunt and Wispy out, I'm pretty sure that is it, and Trem9 will take this set against Calamity. Holy Dyer, that end game, man.
This was a crazy. I was really, like, I was saying it. They are throwing because I didn't realize that the wiggle off will happen. I guess they set it up intentionally and tricked me, us, Calamity, everyone pretty much. But this was one of the most unexpected turns in the end game, and that is going to be the 2-0 for Tremor here over Calamity. Absolute insane showing, absolute entertaining best of 3 as well. Congratulations to Tremor. This was beyond our expectations. Calamity, great game as well. Great start into Season 9. You can be very proud on the performance today, but Tremor is going to take it on to Eternal up there, both now with a clean 2-0, so that's going to set the tone for the upcoming week. This was Calamity versus Tremor. We have another match for today. You will see Elysium versus Sinners. Another absolute banger match, if you ask me. Sinners in Winter Circuit, one of the most incredible teams with so many ups and downs, so many comebacks, so many great strategies they've shown us. Elysium, I don't think they need an introduction. They will introduce themselves in the first trial when they are pulling out their insane gameplay. For specTRAL and me, it's going to be a goodbye for now. We are having 2 wonderful casters waiting in the background that are going to lead you through the upcoming best of 3.